Do you want to talk about what's going on this text thread right now, or do you want to take another phone call?
No, we can. I mean, McMonagle ripping me about my take on the trophy because he's comparing it. Is McMonagle in the building there, Dove? Can you bring him into the studio for a second?
So we'll set it up for you. When Chris McMonagle used to run our board, it was last year, and it was during the Astros scandal. And remember, when the Astros scandal happened, that's when it came out when Rob Manfred said, "What do you want me to do? Take away the trophy? That's just a piece of metal."
Right.
Moose was very offended by that.
Well, you can't refer. You're the commissioner of the sport. You can't refer to your trophy as a piece of metal.
But so McMonagle's point is, but it's okay for Brady to toss the Lombardi trophy.
He's not the commissioner of the sport.
Okay, so it's just for commissioners.
No, Brady
I'm
didn't
just
refer.
asking.
So did Brady refer to the trophy? There's McMonagle.
Oh,
Chris,
hey, Chris.
Hi.
You're texting me.
Yes, I'm texting
about
you because
Blowing
your
up
phone.
our
bothered by my
while we're on
take
the
on. You're bothered by my take because the daughter.
Because we went back and forth
the daughter
forever
of the
about
woman,
that stupid
the
line
daughter
about
of the
him
man
calling it
that
a piece of metal.
designed it, right? So the great Lorraine Gross down in Fort Myers, Florida,
right,
who's the daughter of Greg Gross, the master silversmith at Tiffany, from 67 to 94, crafted the very first Vince Lombardi trophy, is offended that Tom Brady disrespected the Vince Lombardi trophy by tossing it from one boat to another last week during the boat celebration parade in Tampa. So she wants a public apology for Tom Brady for disrespecting the trophy that her father at one point in time put together as a master silversmith, right? And designed. Now, that's comparable to Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, referring to his trophy as a piece of metal.
Yeah. The idea that Tom Brady, I don't care about whether people want to assume. I have no problem with Tom Brady did, but for you, Moose, I'm talking about you because we went on and on about how offended you were that trophy was called a piece of metal. Yet Tom Brady, in good fun, can risk dropping it in the bottom of the sea. All right, if a scuba team has to go get it, that's okay. It's fine, no big deal. But God forbid you call it by the material it's made out of. You should no longer be the commissioner.
Do you think
it's either sacred or it's not sacred?
They're not in the middle of the Atlantic.
I don't care where it is. He's throwing. That thing could hit the boat. It could break. It could fall to the bottom of the ocean in two pieces.
To the depths of the Atlantic where the Titanic was.
Well, that was hyperbole in a text message.
This is insanity.
It's not insanity. You're either offended that you disrespect the trophy or you're not.
Disrespect it.
He's playing with it like it's not a significant piece of what the hell's going on here. It's a meaningless.
They're celebrating. They're drunk. They're tossing the trophy.
So throw a football when you
Cameron Brady.
I have no problem with it. I think it's fun. I'm not that upset about it. But you can't get upset at one and not get upset at the other. Manfred calls it a piece of metal in the context of taking it away from the Astros and the point that would mean nothing. His whole point's the same thing. Once the trophy is rewarded, it no longer becomes anything. Tom Brady's saying the same thing. I worked my ass off to win the championship and get the trophy. Once I have the trophy, it's meaningless to me. And that's exactly what the commissioner was saying. We're not talking about the trophy and winning a championship is what's important. The trophy's a piece of metal. And if I were to take it away from the Astros, it's meaningless. It's just taking away a piece of metal. So if you have a problem with it being a piece of metal, you got to have a problem with it when it's getting thrown around like it's a Nerf football.
It got tossed one time on one occasion.
I don't care. That's the point.
Do you think the Stanley Cup is not meaningful?
Of course it is.
Whatever. They're fornicating with the Stanley Cup. Do you think
they drink out of it. They do all kinds of stuff with it. They bring it with them in fountains like they're doing a Friends Open to the show. I understand what they're doing. They're having fun. I don't have a problem with it. But if
Neither do I.
All right, but then you can't get on the commissioner. That's my point.
Come out and
this
call
was
it a
just
piece
a way
of
to
metal?
re-bring this conversation back because you've always bothered me with it.
Did Goodell come out and call it a piece of metal?
No.
All right, did
do you want to go over the things Goodell has done?
Did Rob Manfred
Is that really what we want to do now?
Did Adam Silver refer to the Larry O'Brien trophy as a piece of metal?
No.
Did Bettman?
No.
Do you want to go through every commissioner?
Did Clayton Kershaw throw the trophy like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in a playground?
Who runs the MLS? I have no idea who's the commissioner of the MLS.
So then let me ask you a question.
He or she, do they refer to it as a piece of metal?
No, of course not.
So
did Clayton Kershaw take the trophy and throw it 95 miles an hour? Did he play catch with it?
Wait a second. I have no.
If one commissioner didn't do it, that makes it okay. But no other player's ever thrown the trophy, so I guess.
So Tom Brady. So your take is that if I felt that the commissioner of the sport of baseball, referring to the championship that he handed out, by the way, after the Astros cheating scandal, not to take away said trophy, referred to it as a piece of metal.
Yes.
You think if I was offended by that, I have to be offended that Tom Brady disgraced the Vince Lombardi trophy by throwing it from one boat to another to Cameron Brate?
I wouldn't say offended, but you can't retweet the video and talk about how awesome it is. And then you can't go on and on about how great it is.
Fantastic. I love it.
It's not fantastic. It's fine. I don't care, but then don't. It's either a piece of metal or it's a significant trophy that means
loves football more than his family. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'm just telling you. All I want, I'm glad. I hope Tom Brady goes away and never comes back because I want someone to win it who cares about it. I'll just say that.
All right?
Stop. You think Aaron Rodgers would have held that trophy and tossed it all over the place, or would he held it with his fingers and you had to pry it out of his dead cold hand to get it out of his hand?
Don't worry.
I want someone who cares about it.
He's 1-4 in NFC title games. Don't worry about him winning.
I know he needs to win one.
He's
for crying
terrible.
Out loud.
He's terrible in big games.
It's either a piece of metal or it's something significant. And once you throw it, it's a piece of metal.
I'll say this about McMonagle's point, which is
that it's
beyond.
Valid?
Well, sure, but beyond the commissioner, who's the second person who you would say represents football more than anyone, right? Who's basically the face of the league? It's Brady.
Right.
That's where I'll get his point. It might not be the commissioner, Moose, but it's also not some scrub. It is
I'm not
Tom
saying that
Brady.
Tom Brady's. I'm not saying that Tom
he
Brady's
represents
a scrub.
the sport as much as anyone, as much as Roger Goodell. Hell, more than Roger Goodell.
That was a guy enjoying the spoils of it. He never referred to it publicly as just a piece of metal. Now, you want to say his actions? You were bothered by his actions?
All right, so that's what I'm saying. Listen, I really don't have a problem with Brady did, but let me ask you, once he does that, what is he telling you about that trophy?
Now
that it's significant to him? That it means a whole hell of a lot to him? Or that it's just a piece of metal he's willing to throw across the bay?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm not surprised that McMonagle has resurfaced here because this was a very big discussion that happened about the Astros scandal. Moose was very offended by the commissioner saying that it's just a piece of tin, yet very much enjoyed and was delighted by Tom Brady tossing the Lombardi
You can't be
trophy
delighted by it if you have such a problem with
It is a bit of an inconsistency.
It's either sacred or it's not. That's it. That's all. That's all. Tom Brady can throw it to the bottom of the ocean, no big deal. But the commissioner refers to it as the material it's made out of, and he should not be the commissioner.
It was also 1-5 that Maggie would bust my chops about this one as well.
Well, I was with McMonagle on this to begin with.
You were getting 20 cents on the dollar on this one.
Well, thank you for letting me come on and yell at you. I appreciate it. You're the best.